Worse for America, 9/11 or January 6th?
That's a deep question. I don't know, probably the insurrection. I mean, that had an impact on a lot of people's mentality and their respect for the systems of the government and everything. So, yeah, I think it turned a lot of people kooky.
Wow, I was going to say 9/11, but I think in the years to come, we'll find out that January 6th was probably more impactful.
More damaging?
What was more harmful for America? Yeah.
I think January 6th might rival 9/11. I will say that both of these just impacted how people can view patriotism and wanting to have love for their country.
That clip is, I don't even know what to say. How are all of them saying that January 6th is worse than, or potentially equal to, we'll see in the future, 9/11? Like, there's so many questions. First off, why anybody would believe that? Is that just like a liberal leftist viewpoint? I mean, I know it's talked about a lot in the media, and of course it is the left side that is, perpetrating that January 6th was so terrible and attacking our democracy and blah, blah, blah. So are these people just liberals, or is it because schools are kind of becoming liberal and pushing that idea? Oh, January 6th was so terrible. We don't talk about 9/11 anymore. We talk about this. Or what is it? Or I mean, I get it also that some of these kids would be young and wouldn't personally remember 9/11, you know what I mean? Like, even if you're born in 99, you were 2, you don't remember. So you could say that that's an argument, but at the same time, I wasn't alive during World War I or II, but I know World War I and II were terrible. I know Vietnam was terrible. Korean War was terrible. I don't have to exist to know that those were bad. I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, I think, something super. I think Gorbachev, when he took down the wall, that was so much worse than World War I and II put together. Like, but let's just equate these together. So on one hand, you have a situation, 9/11, where it was terrorists hijacking planes, crashing these planes into the World Trade Centers. Well, 2 of them, and then the other 2, one of them kind of crashed somewhere weird because apparently the passengers took over the terrorists. And then the other one was an attempt at the Pentagon. I mean, this actually goes for all of them, but you know what I mean. Anyways, though, with all that, there was a lot of loss of life, a lot of damage, a lot of, even the people that didn't die from the 9/11 attacks, the trade towers, they still ended up with complications after from all that crap in the air. I mean, the trade towers were filled with asbestos. So now you knock those down, that's just asbestos floating around in the air. Everyone's breathing that in. A lot of people died from, like, if you will, postpartum cancer and such from that. And, obviously not only those people were directly affected, but then there's the secondary people who are affected, such as, let's say, a husband worked in the trade towers, and now, actually husband and father, let's say, and then the towers go down, he dies. Now those kids lost their dad, that wife lost her husband. I'm sure his parents are still alive, so they lost their son. That was a lot of people affected in a very negative manner, and still would be affected to this day, because it's still something that they're going to think about. How, oh, my dad's not here, my mom's not here, my brother's not here because of that. It's also something that you're going to think about because, well, it's an anniversary every year when it comes around. The date is what the event was called, 9/11. It's the date. So, you're kind of constantly reminded, even if you want to try to forget. But yeah, then the aftermath, it caused a lot of governmental crackdowns. You had the NSA spying on everyone for your protection. The airline security beefed up massively. There was a war that started that went on for 20 years over in the Middle East, even though, the terrorists were supposed to be bin Laden's guys, which were Afghanistan, but for some reason we ended up in Iraq and all these other places as well. Kind of convenient how that worked out. But regardless, so again, more people being affected, those families having a child overseas or a husband overseas or a father overseas or whatever to be in Iraq, possibly getting hurt, like, regular war stuff, like your legs blown off or killed. So that's more people. Like, this thing just compounded and compounded and compounded. It's huge. And yet these people are saying that it's worse than, is less severe than January 6th, which was a bunch of people that ran up to the White House, the Capitol building, stormed it, and then kind of just walked around checking things out while they're in there. Oh, this is cool. I've never been here before. Ooh, what's this? And the leader, the Tuscan shaman, the shaman, he was just some guy wearing some dumb outfit with some face paint on, and he's practically just chilling in there as well. I mean, when he got into the main chambers, he sits at Pelosi's desk, or not desk, but her chair, you know, in the chamber. And he was just kind of hanging out. I think there was a couple cops in there, and he was just like, I'm just going to be in here for a minute. I'm not going to do anything. Like, he's just casually talking to them. Like, wow, that sounds so bad. The building didn't get destroyed. Nobody died. Okay, there was one. There was one girl who was killed. And offhand, I don't know the details of that, so I can't really speak to it. But one person, as opposed to thousands and thousands from the terrorist attacks. But yes, January 6th obviously is worse. You know, what else? So it's people walking around basically just protesting because they didn't like the outcome of, you know, they felt like the election was rigged. So they were protesting, which is funny when you go and burn down an entire city and you go and loot stores and vandalize stores and all that, that's okay. But when you go to the Capitol building, oh my God, it's such a big attack on our democracy and blah, 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 blah. Also, there's so much evidence that suggests that the rioters were let in. Somebody let them in. They didn't even storm in or do anything, break in or anything like that. So how is that worse than the terror attacks? And then they say that in the future we might see, one of those girls, I mean, says in the future we might see that we might equate the January 6th to being on the same level as 9/11. How would you ever equate something as stupid as people just hanging out at the Capitol building as on par or worse than a full-on first terrorist attack and then a subsequent war? Are you serious? The other thing is, January 6th is so insignificant and pointless. It was a one-day event, not even a one day, it was like a half-a-day event. People were just kind of there in the morning and they were gone by the afternoon. Like, it was a half-a-day event. And the only reason anybody knows the date is because they're always constantly talking about it. The leftist media is constantly talking about it. If nobody talked about it, you wouldn't know when the date was. If you might kind of have vague recollections on when it occurred. You'd be like, I think it was in January, around the election, right? Maybe January 20th or something. I don't know. As far as the year, like, it's so insignificant. I don't know. It was, what, 2021, I think, right? Yeah, right after the election. Election would have been November 2020, so 2021. But I had to think about that. I didn't just know it. We're 9/11, 2001. I just know. I don't have to stop and think about it. I just know, 2001. I know more about that date when that event happened than other stuff in my life. Like, how old was I? What grade was I in? That I got to think about. This, boom, 9/11, 2001. Where this, it's like January 6th, I don't know, 2000? No, that's not right. Oh, yeah, 21, duh. The other thing is also people who don't pay attention to politics and like listen to the news and all that crap, they're not even going to know what January 6th is. I have so many family members that would have no idea what January 6th is. The only reason I know is because I listen to political commentary all day. And so the political commentary that I listen to makes fun of these idiots on the left who are constantly talking about it and acting like this is so horrible. So that's why I know. But like my mom, she's not going to know. My brother, he's not going to know because it doesn't matter. Nothing happened. It was just a day. And then the leftist media decided to make it into a big thing. Why? Because, you know, it was Trump led and he's such a threat to them that anything that they think they can stick on him to make him seem like more of a bad guy is right up their alley and they're all for it. So that's all. They're just going to keep droning on and on and on about that. You know, you got our very dumb VP, very dumb, Kamala Harris saying that it's bad. If someone as low intelligence as her is saying it's bad, then think about it. Is it really that problematic? Probably not. Somebody who can't explain AI without saying, oh, it's 2 letters, it's an acronym, it stands for artificial intelligence. Like, really, I had no fucking idea. They only made a Will Smith movie 20 years ago called, you know, AI or something with AI in it. I had no idea. No, iRobot, but that was all about AI. Like, I had no idea, Kamala. Thanks for explaining something as obvious as that to me. Now, when you talk about January 6th, you must know what you're talking about, you genius. Anyways, though, It's pretty insane that these people think this way. That January 6th is worse than or on par with a terrorist attack that led to a 20-year war. Like, okay. But then again, when a city's burning down in the background, it's a mostly peaceful protest. Flipped over cop cars on fire, all the buildings on the strip, or all the businesses, I should say, on the strip looted, windows smashed, buildings further in the distance all on fire. But it's mostly peaceful. But people just hanging out at the Capitol building, protesting a election, you know, that's a huge problem. But that freak that was on her knees, no, with her green hat, that's okay, right? I mean, I guess she didn't really do anything, but it's kind of the same idea. She was protesting in her own weird psycho way, Trump winning, but that's cool, right? I don't know where these people get these ideas from, or how they believe it. And how are people, I get it that there's a narrative that's trying to be pushed, so fine, the narrative people are going to pretend to believe it and push it hard because they're trying to build a narrative. But the people that fall into the narrative, how do you believe it? How are you that blind that you can't see something's not right here? Just because they say it doesn't mean it. Like anybody that supports Biden, I don't get it. How does this moron get up on stage, fumble his speech the whole entire time, and you still think, yeah, that was good? You know, when I make my videos, it's freestyle. I get an idea of a video, and then I just start recording. I don't have prepared scripts. I don't have anything prepared. I mean, geez, I'm not even wearing pants right now, okay? I'm wearing my underwear. I just put on a shirt so for the purpose of the video, so I'd look a little more professional. But the point I'm trying to get at is, when I'm doing this, it still comes out significantly better than this guy reading a pre-prepared speech. All he's got to do is read words. It's right there in front of him on a massive teleprompter, and it is massive. I've seen a behind-the-scenes look. It's much bigger than anyone else. Anyone else's, it's like little mirrors on the side. Him, it's like this huge TV, like, right there in front of him, and he still screws it up. Still stumbles, still, I can't get the word out, you know what I mean. No, I don't know what you mean. Fucking say it. But then all these people, that was such a good speech. Or, hey, the country's tanking, the economy's tanking. Bidenomics. Like, how do you not see it? It must just be like they always say, the TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. Oh, it's not Trump. He was terrible. You know, I hated having gas at $1.95 a gallon. I'd prefer $4. That's Bidenomics. What's that? I go to the grocery store and I guaranteed have to spend $200 for the same crap that used to cost me $50. What's that? People hanging out at the Capitol building protesting election outcome and just literally hanging out and nothing bad happened, nobody died or anything. That's definitely worse than terror attacks, because the media told me so. I don't have a brain. I do see these very dumb lefty videos all the time, too. Like, these, all the time. Because usually it's a right-wing smart person trolling them, and then they just, you know, reveal their natural stupidity. And also I see videos about people who don't know basic information, like how many states there are. So, what's a state? Name 3 countries that are in North America. I thought North America was a country. You know, all these very dumb people. But some of them, like this one, is just... I had to make a video talking about it, because it's just too dumb. Anyways, I'm trailing on now, because I just want to try to make this a little longer. So, that's all I got. But, yeah. Please don't be stupid. Please don't be a leftist. You know, they always say vote Democrat. Absolutely not. Vote Republican. Vote red. If you want the country to have any type of power and stability and future... forget the Democrats. It's all gaslighting. It's all lying to you. Don't let them keep fooling you. Don't let them keep trying to trick you. Look at how the country's going. Look how it goes with any time there is a Democrat, at least in recent times. Obama was terrible. This loser we have now is significantly worse. I mean, geez, even Carter, he has the reputation of being he was the worst. I would say Biden blew him out of the water. But he was a Democrat also. Like, it's not the way to go. Anytime there's Democrats in power, the country is trash. Once a Republican takes over, it's great. So use your brain, do some proper research, broaden your horizons. Don't just listen to CNN and The View and MSNBC, Rachel Maddow, Don Lemon, and all these losers who are stuck in their own ways and talk in circles for themselves, Cenk Uygur, or however you say his name, broaden out, branch out, listen to other people, get those alternate views, see what they're saying, think about what they're saying, research what they're saying, so that then you can prove to yourself that, hey, they're right, and these idiots I've been listening to are wrong. I need to stop being brainwashed. Anyways, see you later.